niece. I always thought of her as the princess because she was related in so many ways to the Baba family. She was born on October 2nd, 1927, in British India. Meher Baba visited her family while she was in her mother's womb. Meheru's birth name was Mehera. Her mother named her for her sister Mehera. Later, Baba gave her the name Meheru to distinguish her from Mehera. Her parents were Rustom Kaikhushru Irani, and that was Adi K. Irani's brother. And her mother was Freiny Jehanjir Irani, and that was Mehera Irani's sister. Rustom and Freiny were engaged by Baba's instruction at Manzili Mim. And they were married in 1923, and Baba did attend. Her grandmother on her father's side was Gulmai, who was Baba's spiritual mother. Meheru's grandfather on her father's side was Kaikhushru Irani, who owned Meherabad. Her grandfather on her mother's side was Jehanjir, Mehera's father. Her grandmother on her mother's side was Daulat Mai, Mehera's mother. Rustom and Freiny had many children, so Meheru's siblings were Merwan, Falu, Naggu, Beheram, and Jangoo. In the early 1930s, and she was born in 1927, so she was pretty young, her family lived in the same compound as Meher Baba's women's ashram, which was located in Nasik, India, near the Godavari River. Baba would often spend the night at Meheru's home. As a small child, she was constantly in and around him and his women disciples. Ever since she was 4 or 5, whenever Baba visited, he asked her, in Freiny's presence, her mother, what she wanted to do with her life. Meheru always told Baba, I want to be like the other women, Mandali, and serve you. Baba was pleased, and Freiny too seemed happy with her daughter's response and never discouraged her. Baba then asked, whom do you love most in the world? You, Baba, was Meheru's enthusiastic and definite reply. How much do you love me? Just a little bit? No, a lot. How much? Meheru spread her arms as wide as she could. Baba beamed with pleasure and embraced her heartily. As soon as Baba arrived, the children in the family rushed to embrace him, and each one wanted to be first. The children could bow down to his feet. Baba played with them. Once she was hit on the nose and lost blood, Baba always had sympathy, love, and concern for her. One time she quarreled with her brother. She was sulking and wouldn't eat. Baba fed her every morsel. At times, Baba would have 1-hour meditations, and her mother had to keep the children quiet for an hour. She fed them sugarcane and had them make flowers. As a child, Meheru was athletic, which continued throughout her days. She was one of the stronger ones. And for school holidays, they would stay at Kushru quarters, now the trust compound, in Ahmednagar. Many relatives joined them there. They would visit Pimplegown Lake for swimming, and they would also go to Happy Valley. Baba was extremely fond of Rustom and Freiny's children. In September 1934, he went to Nasik with Adi, Sr., to enroll the children in school. He would often go to Nasik to make certain the children were well cared for and see to their welfare. In 1936, That's when the Western women came to live at Nasik and be in the Nasik luxury ashram, as it was. And many Westerners were there. So Meheru got to meet Narina Machabeli, Nani and Rano Gailey, Jean Adriel, Kitty, and Ruano Bogoslav. Meheru and her family enjoyed the Westerners. One year they stayed at Meherabad. Meher Baba's orders were not to cross the railway line, so they never saw Upper Meherabad at that time. They saw Mehera for the first time. They knew Mani since she would visit Nasik, but it was also her first time seeing Mohammed the Must, whom she found strange and intriguing. In 1937, Baba's birthday was celebrated in Nasik. Grain bundles were made to be distributed to the poor. Meheru remembered a trained monkey who embraced Baba. In 1938, Baba's birthday was celebrated for the first time on a very grand scale. Meheru's mother, Freiny, was called 1 week beforehand to help with the arrangements. Meheru was determined to join them. She chased the car as her mother left. And then when her mother arrived, Baba said, "Why didn't you bring her and Katie?" And for that occasion, Meheru had a very pretty dress, especially sewn for Baba's birthday. She proudly showed the dress to him. After 1938, Meheru and her sister were called from boarding school to spend all their school holidays with Baba. So she went on the blue bus tours when she was on vacation from her school. In 1942, as a young teen, she's pretty young, she joined the women Mandalis ashram, 15. She wanted to stay with Baba permanently. So Baba had Meheru complete an English course with Kitty's help for her senior Cambridge examination. And that was truly as far as Meheru went with schooling. And that was the time that Baba changed her name to Meheru when she joined the ashram to distinguish her from her Aunt Mehera. This is interesting. In May of 25th in 1942, Baba and the women left for Dehradun to spend a month in Rishikesh. Once, Baba permitted Meheru to swim. She asked. She was pretty adamant. So he told Sarwar to go with her, but Sarwar couldn't swim. That was Baidul's daughter and Freiny Foreman's mother. Soon Baba told the group something was wrong. He asked Kitty or Rano to see if they were all right. Meheru was caught in a whirlpool and would have drowned had not Kitty or Rano pulled her out. So essentially, Baba plucked her out of the raging Ganges River as it roared out of the Himalayas at Rishikesh, where she was drowning near a place called Swarg Ashram. After all that excitement, on June 12th, school holidays were over. Hilla and Naju Katwal, Meheru and her sister Naggu left Rishikesh and returned to school. So now she was part of the ashram, and when the Jesawala family left the ashram to move to Bindra House in Pune, Meheru asked if she could take over washing Baba's clothes, which he permitted, and she did them many, many times. In 1949, Meheru was one of only 4 women to accompany Baba on the new life. She wasn't sure she'd be going on the new life. Mani felt she'd be taken, but Meheru was sure she'd be going on the new life. Mani too felt she'd be taken, but Meheru and Goher had no such confidence. They didn't know who the other 2 women would be. Meheru remembered how she found out she'd be going. Each woman came up and gave their answer to obey Baba. She said, "I looked into his eyes and said, yes. I agreed to whatever Baba said and didn't think about what would happen." Baba didn't tell me privately I'd be going. The first I heard of it was when Baba announced it at the meeting, when we were all together. I felt happily, but naturally we all reflected the seriousness of the moment. I felt the responsibility of living up to the new life as Baba wanted. And it wasn't easy for the women, but they felt very free and happy to be accompanying Baba in that way. And that afternoon on Meherabad Hill, Baba finally announced to the women the 4 who would be accompanying him. And Meheru was 42 at the time, Mani 31, Meheru 22, so she was the youngest, and Dr. Goher was 34. The new life ended in 1952. In April of 1952, Meheru was one of the 4 women to travel to the West with Baba. And those 4 women were the 4 women who accompanied him on the new life. Meheru, Mani, and Dr. Goher, and of course, Meheru. When they arrived at the Meher Spiritual Center in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, the women stayed in the guest house, which had been built specifically for them. On May 24th, 1952, Meheru was traveling in Elizabeth's car on the way to California when the car accident occurred in Prague, Oklahoma. Right after the accident, Meheru placed Baba's head gently on her lap as he lay on the side of the road while they waited for assistance. After the accident, Baba's sign for Meheru was putting his finger across his forehead. It was because she suffered a head injury in the 1952 car accident. Meheru continued to live at Meherazad in later years with summer stays at Guru Prasad in Pune, India. She served Meher Baba and Mehera both, helping Mehera with Baba's personal work. She worked in the garden, cared for their many pets, helped with correspondence, sewing, and household matters. After Baba passed away in 1969, she continued to serve Mehera. She served Mehera until Mehera's passing in 1989. She would be on the Meherazad veranda to share stories of her life with him. In 1993, Meheru visited the West. She was the guest of the LA Sahavas. She also came up to the San Francisco Bay Area at that time. She gave a talk in a church in Kensington, California, and spoke on attention to detail. And we also had a wonderful day going through San Francisco and Muir Woods with her. Meheru was made head of the Trust Archives activity. She organized the archives at the Archives building at Meherazad. She was the last remaining women Mandali member. She passed away on April 21st, 2012 at Meherazad. She was interred at Upper Meherabad. Her tomb shrine is to the right of Mani's tomb shrine, which is to the right of Baba's Samadhi. If I remember correctly, it's Dr. Goher and then Meheru. I think, yeah. We have to check that. Okay, so about Meheru. This was December 28, 2001. So Don Stevens wrote, Meheru, a niece of Mehera, has been with Baba for decades, always accompanying her, and whenever Mehera went on trips with Baba. While she had been in the background during the lifetime of Mehera, in recent times, she too has shown the strong intelligence and character that was so evident in Mehera. She has been made the head of the Trust Archives activity and has done a superb job of organizing that complex and very sensitive work. From Shariar Books, as good at flower arranging, and I have a picture of her at Meherazad in the dining room table with flowers, as she is with hammer and nails, tender-hearted, quick-witted, and adventurous. Meheru is a surprise and delight for visitors to the women's side of Meherazad, and her moving stories of Baba's love for Mehera and Mehera's love for Baba are unforgettable, providing a rare glimpse into the secluded world of his closest women disciples. Mehera wrote a book, Nursery Rhymes, in Meher's time. She also co-authored Tales of the New Life with Erich Wendell, Mehera, Mani, and Meheru. See, Meherabad. What a wonderful soul. And how fortunate we were, as she was the last woman Mandali and passed in 2012. So many of us had the chance to meet her and know her. Jai Baba.
Jai
Well,
Baba, Karen.
good.
Thank you,
Karen,
dear.
Karen, that was wonderful. Could you lift up higher the photograph? We couldn't
Yeah.
see that.
Tell me if you can see it.
Yes, a little higher.
Higher, yeah.
Casey gave this
Spotlight?
one.
we
Can
spotlight that?
you put it up?
Spotlight.
Spotlight, yeah, spotlight.
A minute.
Lucy, should I
Just a minute,
spotlight?
dear. Oh,
Wait.
I can only do one thing at a time.
Karen,
I'm not able to do
I'm
it.
sorry.
spotlight.
Okay, okay.
Here.
There it is. There it is.
Oh, that is
You
beautiful.
can see Baba, the picture of Baba in the background,
That's the
and
kitchen, yeah.
that's it's the dining room.
Yeah,
At Meherazad.
beautiful. Beautiful.
And there she is arranging the flowers.
Oh, beautiful. I didn't know they do it all together. I thought they did it each one in each room. That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and Karen, you're right about her being first Goher and then she and then Katie. Yeah.
Can you hold the book up again?
In the
Judy?
shrines, in the shrines.
In the shrine, is that, oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
There it is. Okay, down a little bit now. That's what a sweet book. What a
Yeah, it is. It is.
yeah.
There's another book that Mehera wrote, and I think she encouraged Mehera to write this book. And this is about Baba's pets. Baba loved us too.
That Mehera wrote that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but Meheru encouraged it. She's in forward. She wrote the preface to the book.
Hmm.
Is it long?
But-
could you read it?
The preface?
Maybe it's long.
Let me see. I have other things that I have a whole bunch of stuff. All of you who had met dear Mehera and known her over the years must have come to love her not only for her one-pointed love for beloved Baba, which brought him so alive to you, but also for her love and personal interest in all of you, his dear family. So deep was her loss at beloved Baba's passing that it was years before that natural interest in zest she had in life were reawakened. This could only have come about through beloved Baba's love for her that supported her through these years. I'm trying to see where she talks about the pets. Knowing Mehera's love for horses and riding, Baba even fulfilled this desire whenever possible. We were in Panchgani in 1943, where a spirited white mare had been procured for Mehera. Around the surrounding area of our secluded bungalow, which was a few miles away from the town, Baba told Mehera she could go out riding every morning. Mani and I, Meheru, one of us on foot, the other riding by turns, would try to keep up with her in our amateurish way on a gentler mare. Mehera really enjoyed those rides, and Baba was happy in her happiness. The day came one morning when Baba said all the ladies of the ashram should come out to watch Mehera ride. And she goes on and on to talk about Mehera riding fast and faster. She was galloping past us like a flash. and Mehera often talked of Sheba winning her race. But this is the ride I like to remember and still envision in my mind's eye.
Was that horse named Sufi, the white one? Anybody know?
No,
No, that was the one in the New Life.
Sheba,
Oh,
right?
oh, Sheba.
That's
Okay.
Sheba, yeah.
Yeah, Sufi was in the New Life and he was wild. Wow, Karen, that was so beautiful. I think you
Oh,
added
I'm
some
glad
new
you liked
things.
it.
I think you added some more things to it, and it's very, very beautiful. And that you started it with her being a princess. Yeah,
Well,
it
she was related on Baba's side and I mean, there's so many relations there.
yeah. Hmm.
And the way she was like the daughter of Mehera and
Yeah.
Baba in so many
Yeah.
ways. And for so many years, like when we would go in the 70s and even the 80s, she was so quiet.
Yeah.
She just stitched. She just would stitch and just care for everything. And then she came alive after Mehera. I mean, it was very interesting. Anyway, let other people talk.
Well, I thought I'd show this video and we can take a
Great,
little bit of some photos of Meheru, which would be wonderful.
great.
All right, so I'm going to mute everyone.
You muted you. So we can't hear you.
It's okay. I don't have anything to say. I'm just going to put this on.
I was as a languishing stream, without a babble, without a dream, till I felt life within me surge and fill me with an urge to know my soul, to reach the goal, and to give my all to the ocean whole. You changed my world the day you came into my life. Oh, keep me in the circle, in the close circle. Keep me in the circle of your love. I had wandered in a desolate land.
That's our
where
sweet
hope
Ruthie.
would not grow, till the day you took my hand and you let me know of a love so tender, a love so true. Oh, Meherabad, that love is you. You changed my world the day you came into my life. Oh, keep me in the circle, in the close circle. Keep me in the circle of your love. When I entered your realm, what peace I found. I knelt down and kissed the ground, where still are fresh the imprints of your feet. And I quenched my thirst with such water sweet, graced by your smile. Meher, how beautiful is this garden, where the earth and the air with your fragrance is laden. You changed my world the day you came into my life. Oh, keep me in the circle, in the close circle. Keep me in the circle of your love. You changed my world the day you came into my life. Oh, keep me in the circle, in the close circle. Keep me in the circle of your love.
Jay Baba,
Such beauty, Ruthie. Beautiful.
such a subject, huh?
Beautiful, beautiful job, Ruthie. Wow.
Wow.
Those photos that you called out were me sitting at the bench.
Yeah, 2 photos.
There were 2 photos. It was the day we were leaving, and I had not spoken to Meheru the whole time. She sat and sewed. I was there 5 weeks. I worked with Go Hair. You know, I was around, but she was on the periphery, as has been said. But the day that we were leaving, I don't know how. I don't know if somebody pushed me to speak to her, if she spoke to me, but she said, come. And we went and sat on that bench. And I don't know that I can even tell you what she said. I just know that I sat down with her and I started to weep. I just looked at her and I started to weep. And that's all I can remember was just sitting there weeping, trying to hold myself together, but not able. And her sweetness just enveloping me as I wept. And so those are the photos. They're very precious to me. They have that intimacy of her stamped all over them. So that's my story on the photos.
Wow.
So who
Ruthie, what year was that?
85. That was 85, Jude.
How precious.
Yes, thank you.
You are shining in them. You are so
Yes. Uh-huh. And your
5
hair
weeks.
was so curly.
Yeah, my
Af-
hair. Oh, I think I had a permanent then. 5 weeks in India make you shine, that's for sure.
Uh-huh.
yeah.
So anybody else want to share a story? A memory?
Well, I can say that just this thing. I mean, some people describe her as very temperamental, alive. I mean, alive, because she was sport-like and she liked to do and she liked to walk and she liked. But I know her side, which is just always in the background. That's why I'm not surprised that you spent so much time with there and didn't talk to her, because she always kept to the back. And even when she was the only Mandali to be a women Mandali on the stairs, and I felt she didn't like it. She didn't want to be in the front. She always wanted to be supportive. Yes, she would always be supportive. She would want to help people, and if she felt that she would even approach. But she didn't like to be in the spotlight. And from the photos, like Karen was talking about her being a princess, and the photos in the video, she is so majestic. She's so not majestic, but also majestic. I don't know the word in Hebrew. There's a word, and she's so beautiful. They're so beautiful. The women of Baba, so very beautiful, and they have this thing. They are queens and kings, queens and princesses, and wow.
I have a memory.
Yes, Ralph?
Have memories of Meheru that remain quite vivid. I guess they seem vivid as I see her this morning, and everyone else is remembering her. And things I remember on a personal level, like one day I took this huge camera to India with me. It had a carrying case about the size of a tea cart, and and I had set the camera up there next to Baba's room to take a picture of Baba's face in the tree. And I put the tea cart down on the ground, and it had a lid that opened up. And then you pulled all the paraphernalia, camera and lenses out, film plates, and then in the lid, on the inside of the lid, I had pasted a photo of Baba. And Meheru sauntered up, and I really almost didn't notice her. And she's watching me, and I began to become more and more aware of her. And then I looked at her, and she said, "You've got Baba's photo down there on the ground." She said, "You should get it up off the ground." And she turned around and walked away. And I said, boy, I almost cussed. Because my mind went to work on that. It's in the lid. It's up off the ground. But there was a bench. There was a bench not too far off. And I think I picked the case up and set it over there. And then that. Another occasion, Meheru frequently, particularly if there were a few people around at least or more, and if Mehera weren't out, Meheru would come out and maybe entertain us. Like she could work magic with a top. You know what a top is? With the string, you spin it and it twirls. Y'all can't see it. Twirls. Spins on its tip. It has a steel nail or tip in it, conical shaped, solid piece of wood with a lip at the top to wrap a string around it, and then you throw it out and pull the string, which spins the top at incredible speed, and it dances around on the surface. And you can get quite good at it or just be, so. Meheru was a magician with the top. She could spin it and make it go on the palm of her hand, all kinds of things. Same with a yo-yo. She could take a yo-yo and do all the things we kids ever like to do, called baby in the cradle, rock the baby in the cradle, walk the dog, which was, I can't even remember. That was, oh yes, you could spin it and make it slip in the string. So the yo-yo has an axle, and it would slip. It wouldn't grab hold and come back. You could make it stick and spin at a good speed and walk it on the ground or on the sidewalk or the floor. You call that walking the dog. She did that and more. She did so much. She had tricks I'd not seen with the yo-yo. She loved cards and pickup sticks. She was in amazing agility with pickup sticks. And I was so impressed. One day she was, I think, yo-yo or the top. And I was thinking, how athletic. Meheru is so athletic. And in my mind, I think I had drifted back as to being a child in Little League. But in my subconscious, I realized that I had myself above her. And really, she was miles ahead of me in ability. But I sort of made a statement that revealed the foundation, my experiential impressions came out that I felt I was better than she was, that I could comment on what she was doing with some authority. And she got the funniest expression. I can't remember what the expression was like, but she says, she's like, you are dreaming, young man. You can't do this. And at least that's how I felt. And I said, that's right. What am I thinking? And I realized it gave me reference point on myself, on who I like, so to speak, where I'd come from and more like that, who you are.
Yeah, we call that right-sized.
Yeah.
She right-sized you.
Put me in my place, yeah. That she was, that was enjoyable. And sometimes I'd get to play pickup sticks with them on the porch.
What is pickup sticks?
Somebody want to help me with this description. Pickup sticks are like, they can be sticks or
I'll
today
help you. I
they're
can
usually
help you.
plastic. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
I think you got it. They're colored sticks. They're
Oh,
about
yeah, yeah, I
like
know what it is. I
long
know.
toothpicks.
Yeah, yeah, I know what it
Okay.
is. Thank you.
You have to pick them up and not disturb the
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
Yeah, can't move,
yeah,
displace
yeah,
the others, yeah.
yeah. I
Yeah.
know that game. We had that in our childhood
Yeah,
too.
yeah, you drop them at random, and how they fall, you have to start picking them up without moving any of the others. Yeah,
Yeah, it's not easy.
yeah,
That's fun. You
Well,
had fun with her.
yeah,
All these games. And
yeah.
she showed
What
you how she knows those.
what simple games. We all took such pleasure and
Yeah.
so, no cell phones, no video games. Wow,
We
what a
shared that with lots of people. With a
mhm.
lot of everyone took interest and would get the turn went around, and I mean, I saw that happening too. Baba's was her way of sharing Baba.
you paint such a beautiful, beautiful picture, Ralph. Now, if you just go down to your camera and click on the little arrow next to it, you should be able to unblur your background. I'll just tell you that. I don't know. Betty, what do you
Judy, I'd like to defer to you if I know you have stories, and I think probably more than me. I'd like to hear you. Is that okay?
Are you calling Judy out? Is that what you're doing? Yeah, Judy.
Uh, sure, Betty. Whatever, before or after. And it's kind of delightful to start. uh, Ralph started us with the fun side, the playful and the athletic side of Meheru. She had so many wonderful sides, and I feel very blessed to have shared, to be with her in so many different ways. I think I'll start with 91 when I was first. I came over. I'd written to Monty in 90, asking her about the possibility of coming and trying to learn something about being in service to Baba over there. And so 91 was the first year that I was starting that period that I call my India years, from 91 to 2007, when I was blessed to live there and be on staff. And so I'd arrived, it was in the fall, and I hadn't been there that long, but the president of the LA group came up to me. Karen, you mentioned she came at the invitation of the LA group to the West. Well, in actuality, so it was John Stout at that time, and he asked me, Judy, do you have the authority on behalf of the Seattle group to invite Meheru to come to the West, to come to Seattle? And I thought for probably a minute. It's like I went over everybody in our group. Is there anybody that wouldn't like that? We don't have officers. We don't, we're very low key. And so I said, yeah, I guess. Sure. And he said, great, because our committee, that LA Sahavas would start planning the next Sahavas the week after the one just happened. They were very organized, with lots of officers and stuff. And they said, we've decided that we want to invite Meheru in 93 to be our guest for the LA Sahavas. But we all decided that she would be more likely to accept if another group also, if she had more than one invitation. And so it turned out that he and I went, got a private time with Meheru to ask her. And in fact, as you well know, she not only accepted our invitations, but she said, if I'm I'm leaving Meherazad, I'm going to go all over the world. It's like, I'm going to do every place all at once. And she did all over the United States. She came over to Europe and made it to Turkey, and then Australia and so forth. So first she did the LA Sahavas, and then the following couple of weeks she came up to Seattle and the Northwest, because she was later then did Portland. And it was so delightful to have her here. And she's so down to earth, but she also, thinking back at Ralph's story, tiny little things, anything about Mayor Baba, like how, that his photo would be low to the ground, needed to be raised. She would simultaneously be delightful, insightful, and really demonstrate to us how better to love, remember, and serve our beloved. And it turned out we had planned. Meheru loves the out of doors. She wanted to see as much nature as she could. And we have incredibly beautiful nature here in the Northwest. And so we decided we'd rented a group campsite on Camino Island, which has all these beautiful pine and cedar trees and so forth, right on the water of the Puget Sound. And we were all going to camp for a whole week together there. Baba had other ideas. She came August 15th of 93, and it was statistically the driest week of the year. Seattle is known for having a lot of rain, which we let the world think that. My mother in Northern California got 3 times as much rain every year as we did in Seattle. But at any rate, we do get a lot of, we drizzle. We're very good at drizzle. And it turned out that it was raining literally not literally, cats and dogs, as they say. We had monsoon rains coming down, when she flew in the airport, and all the way up to, an hour and almost 2 hours north of Seattle. And we got there and we had to change everything upside down. It would not have been possible to have everybody camping out in the pouring rain that was worse than ever. And it turned out that unprepared, I was going to camp out in Paula Roper's backyard and do the cooking. And I hadn't prepared my house at all. But Meheru asked, could I come stay with you? And it was, yes. And she ended up staying here in my humble little abode. And she told me later that of all the places she went all over the world, she stayed longer here at my house. And she was so at home. I'm probably the only person in Seattle that has clotheslines. And I have buckets in my basement. And she could do her own laundry. And she could make chicken soup and vegetable soup and just be at home. It was just Christy Pearson and I here in the house with Meheru. So she was comfortable rather than being put up. If I had been wiser, I would have advised, originally she was going to stay in a house full of men, which really wasn't, at any rate. So she came here and could be with just us gals at a very low key, and we, had meetings, went to all kind of other people's bigger houses so more people could fit in and that kind of thing. We had a delightful time. And among other things, Meheru wanted to play Gilly Danda, a game that, she played as a young girl and that's still played in India. And she whittled herself a Gilly Danda, like instead of a ball, it's kind of like two cones that you put together, and it's wooden. So she whittled one, and I don't remember what we used as a bat, but we had our whole group were playing, and of course Meheru was 10 times better than any one of us, the men or the gals or anything else. But it was just delightful fun playing with her, and going for walks. And she gave, of course, many heartrending talks. It was a very special time. And then our group sort of escorted her down to Portland, and many of us stayed there for the gathering. Betty can share more of that. But that was a delightful period of time. One of the other things from my India years that's memorable in my heart, and again, it's all in a very simple way. Meheru loved to go for walks and loved to invite pilgrims on a Meherazad day. And we would all walk down to the reservoir, down the entrance road to Meherazad, and then you turn left and there's a big reservoir of water. And there were families on the other side of the reservoir that grew various plants that were edible, and we would go, they would offer to Meheru this, and we'd bring the greens back. I don't remember what they're called. We don't have a name in English. And then she would give them to Katie in the kitchen to cook for us. And then those of us that went on the walk together would each get a little bit of these greens with our lunch at Meherazad. And it was endearing ways of that Meheru gave each person a chance to be almost like you were with Baba, in his day. It was very simple and straightforward. And yet it had such a sweet inner feeling of Baba's presence. And I still remember that we'd be given a chapati or maybe half a chapati and have the greens on it, and the taste of that, it's like the taste of being with Baba and being with his women Mandali, in the simplicity of their life there. It was really a very special time. I can share more, but Betty's got stuff, and other people should also share. But yeah, I love the way that Meheru made herself available, because by nature, she's very shy. She's not, Katie, has that personality to, be on stage and so forth. Not Meheru, but she rose beautifully to the occasion. And, as Ruthie pointed out, the last woman Mandali standing, and would tell story after story, precious stories on what we called Mara's porch, Baba's porch at his house at Meherazad, when all the rest were gone. She, who had been that young girl of 15 that joined his ashram, of course, young, she wasn't young by Mani's standards of 13 or Khorshed's standards of joining at 12. But she was the one that the last of those precious stories, the precious presence of her love for Baba that was so like every one of the women. The one pointed perspective of love and service and pleasing Baba. Pleasing Baba. That was the one. Every one of those women had it in each of their unique ways. And today we're celebrating his dear Meheru. So thank you for the opportunity to remember her. It's my heart's happy just in those memories. Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba Judy. Thanks. That's a great. You took us right there to where you live, and then you took us to India. Thank you. Mayor Baba.
Thank you, Baba, for the opportunity.
Eddie?
Well,
Thank you.
first of all, I have this funny little memory of Meheru. Well, I think I had to have been there for the first time in '87 myself, and she, I don't remember that any other exchange, but she and I were walking. We were on opposite sides of Mara's garden there, and I don't know, she caught my eye, I caught her eye, and she started doing this funny walking like this. So I did it too. We kind of walked, and not a word was said. It was the cutest exchange. I just loved it. And so then I'll skip over to continue that her visit here. We were not living yet in our place Baba house. The Wilsons still were here, and Meheru came here, and of course we came up. They had a sahabas and we came up. And I remember this wonderful Judy. You must remember too. I don't. Maybe we were. It was just somehow we were sitting on the porch. They have a beautiful big front porch overlooking trees, and it was very informal. And Meheru was. She said, "So, Sherry, tell me your Baba stories. Tell us your Baba stories." So it was a time of sitting on that. It was just a timeless time of sitting on that porch, and everybody. Heartful sharing. It was wonderful. And then too, at the same visit, this house is situated near an abbey called Mount Angel Abbey, a beautiful place in Oregon, Benedictine Abbey Seminary, and Meheru had the idea that we would drive up there. It takes maybe 10 minutes. And go to evening Vespers at the Catholic Church. She must have grown up in the Catholic schools. It was familiar to her to do Vespers. So I think that's true. So anyway, we did. We all piled into cars, drove up to Mount Angel Abbey, and went into the chapel and sat for Vespers. And then we all came out and somebody asked her, Mehera, so how did you like Vespers? And she said, well, it was a bit dry. Thinking, here she comes from God's home in India. I'm like, how is that going to compare? um, and let's see, I'm not seeing it. I sort of dug around in my archives and found the memorial that I wrote up, our newsletter, with a couple of beautiful pictures. So Ruthie, if you may, okay, I'll show those. But I could go on, but other people should share too. I'll share this. Let's see. Here we are. So this was her, what we put together after when she passed. That beautiful picture of her. Oof. And this story, Meheru, and I get Raleigh or Rolly, Judy, I don't know. It was a dog that in her later years became her dear companion.
Rolly.
Rolly, okay, because he was roly-poly. I can't read the whole thing, but here's I'll just read a bit of it. Rolly was born on Meherazad property 12 years ago as one of 8 puppies and was so round and roly-poly like a little black bear that Meheru named him thus. And during the last few years of her life, she became preoccupied with his care so much that even though he had slept outdoors for years, she created a bed in her room for him to sleep on at night. And it seemed that this bed grew in proportion and elegance daily. So that was just a little, it's a fun article about how, this was from Tavern Talk. And when, here, I'll skip to, this is the morning, okay, let me see. One more on the Rolly would start to be, he was anxious. He whimpered all day long. We were helpless to understand why. And I think this is Shelley, had to give him medication on the morning to ease his agitation. On the morning of the 19th, I was planning to consult our vet about this new and inexplicable behavior when at around 8:30 a.m. I heard Rolly and the other 2 dogs, barking furiously. I'm sorry, I'll go back here. Barking furiously. Meheru had just finished her breakfast and was on the veranda outside the kitchen watching her dishes at the sink. When I heard the barking, and I knew something was terribly wrong. And so Shelley went out and found Meheru, who had had a stroke. So this was Rolly who knew that this had happened. And again, I'm not going to read the whole article, but and after she passed, Rolly just stopped eating. He felt like he couldn't live without her. As so I think yeah. Here it is. During the last 2 days of Meheru's life, Rolly laid on the ground near her bed, despite his being in the way. After Meheru passed and her body was laying in state, he slept just 15 hours feet away from her at Mandalay Hall, and despite efforts to shoo him away, he remained there steadfastly until the 22nd, when we took Meheru to Meherabad for creation. I'm sorry, maybe I got it wrong that he didn't. I thought I was probably confusing him with Mastan, who stopped eating. And there's one more picture. Devon, it says here, this is Meheru and Bao, taken by Devana at Meherazad on Baba's birthday, and Meheru passed away 2 months later. So that was Meheru. Okay, so
And Betty,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
noticed that article said that in 94 she was a guest at the Oregon Sahavas, but it was 1993. That was the year that she did her,
Yeah,
the only time that she left
you're right. You're right. That was an error. Yeah, thanks.
Meherazad.
Yeah, yeah.
Very touching share. Thank you.
Thank you, Betty. Any other thoughts or memories of her, Betty? It's a beautiful article.
Well, I don't want to take up the floor. There's a funny little story about Jim Wilson, who was here. When she was here, Jim and Jean noticed that she had this kind of engineering knack. She liked little machines. She liked tools, uh, and she liked. He had a post hole digger. You know what that is? It's like two shovels together. You dig a hole with it. And so the Jim had the thought when he went to India. I think it was when he went to help work on the tomb. He and Charlie Morton did some work on the what is it, painting and helping to work on the tomb anyway. So Jim had the thought to bring a post hole digger to to Meheru. So he brought shovel part. It has two posts normally, like two shovels. He didn't bring the poles. He just brought the head of it, the two shovels to get. So there he was. It was at the PC in those days. He was staying at the PC, and he woke up one night and saw a snake come in through the door. So he had the post hole digger there, and he used that to kill the snake. So that was one little story.
Great story. Great story. I remember Scott McCabe, I think it was. Anyway, yeah, he was in India and he was asleep and he woke up with a cobra sitting on him. And
Scott did?
And the first thing he thought was Meherabad saying, if you call my name, if you ask for something 100% wholeheartedly, I will give it to you. And so I think this, I'm messing up the story, but he prayed that Baba would save him from the snake. And the snake uncurled and went out and went through a hole. And just as the snake went out through the wall, he thought, why didn't I ask for God realization? My opportunity.
Never
India snake stories, huh?
Oh, I've never heard that story. Just like Mansari, I've never heard that from Scott. Wow.
He tell you where that was?
Somewhere in Lower Meherabad, I think.
Oh yeah. Surprised they had a room with a hole in the wall at Merwan.
I don't know how, but yeah, there was like enough for the snake to
get in and out.
Yeah. I don't know, maybe it went out the door, under the door, but I always thought I heard the hole. But anyway, yeah. Thank you, Baba. Yeah, Jai Baba.
Oh, I'm enjoying the story. So first of all, please forgive me my comments. Ruthie, you were playing this spin when Ralph was telling about her expertise in the spin.
Oh, the top.
The top. And you were showing all the moves. So I figured that you were also some kind of an expert in that.
No, but now Ralph is unfaded, so unblurred, so he could have shown us his own moves.
Yeah. So I was figuring that she had this side of being a tomboy, liking all these things, Yeah. So it fits her. It fits her character, on the one hand being such a princess from the heavenly Darbar, but also this kind of thing that Baba too had. He also had this kind of fun side and tomboyish side. So I
yo-yo. It was a yo-yo. That's what.
no, also a yo-yo, but also
Oh.
the spin. Yeah, and the spin could walk back and forth. I didn't know that because we used to use the spin when we were children, but we
The
never.
yo-yo, the yo-yo can walk.
Oh, the yo-yo. Okay, the
yes.
yo-yo.
Ah.
Okay, okay. So this thing and Judy, your stories and Betty, your stories, so touching. It's such a beautiful time to spend time with the Mandali in this way. Hey, so Meryl, she's probably picking on us and enjoying it too. Yeah.
Mm.
So the two sides of her, the side of her being shy, the one that I saw, not shy, but not liking to be in the center of things. Not it's not shyness, but really not wanting to be in the public eye. But also this fun and adventure and games and walking and doing, and yeah, so it's beautiful. Glad to know these parts.
It reminds me of, I think Eric told a story about a king who had a kingdom full of people, and they all so many talents. And so he said, well, all right, let's set a date. And on that date, I want you to come to the square and perform. So all those that have these abilities and talents will be happy to see it. So the day comes and he's standing next to his minister and he says, okay, go ahead, tell them, go ahead. So he says, okay, those that have musical, have talent, step forward and let's see what you got. So the whole crowd, everybody steps forward and starts carrying on at the same time, singing and dancing and juggling and twirling tops and doing all this stuff. And the king's like, oh my God, what is going on? And the moral of the story is you want to be like someone who steps back with the king and watches. So I'm not, like I said, I messed up the story, but I think you get the gist of it. Eric used to tell that story. So, and that is what Meheru had the ability of. She stood with the king and she observed and watched us. And I think in her, well, just in her presence, you could feel that. That's where she was. She was at his side, like that song that I picked. She was at his side observing us and then showing us fun things too. So anyway, anybody else? I also have a quote that came in the mail that you probably all got, but I wouldn't mind just taking a minute for some of Baba's words. And let's see, Mayor Baba. Of course, it's gotten away from me. Da, 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 da. All right, Baba, where did you hide it? Is it down here? Okay. Well, somehow I've managed to lose it. Oh, it was a good one. Does anybody get, well, it was sent from up north. John sends them out. And I think it's called In His Love. So maybe if I search, I'll find it. 1 second. And if not, I'll give it up. In His Love. Everyone is unconsciously tired of this life because everyone seeks happiness but knows not how to get it. But life is so beautiful. It is meant to be happy. I will help you. Then things will appear changed. You will see it. It is always the outlook that counts and not the object. Today you feel tired, upset, seeing nothing beautiful in things around you in life. If tomorrow you do not feel bored but cheerful in the same things that appeared so black to you yesterday, if it is all due to changed mentality and outlook. The easy way is not to make so much of things. Take them lightly. Say to yourself, I am meant to be happy to make others happy. And gradually, you do become happy yourself and make others happy too. Don't suggest to your mind, I'm tired, haggard, depressed, etc. That will make it worse. Always say, all is well and beautiful. I will be happy. Jai Baba. Well, does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
I think that we are the last generation that have met the Mandali and have known them from close quarters, each one as much as we did, some more, some less. So the next generation will be mostly with Baba, but people would want to know about the Mandali. So Karen, I do think that what you collected should be put into a book, because
Oh, you're muted, my dear. Miss Karen, you need to unmute, honey.
I'm actually working on this,
wonderful.
but I don't know how. I want everything to be accurate, and that's very difficult.
Yeah, okay.
And it might take a long time if it happens, but every day and I'm so happy to read these here because
Yeah.
it gives me the impetus, like, to really work on Meherus.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Ruthie, keep asking me, and I hope Angela will keep doing these
We
because
will.
they're very valuable. And you're right, Mikhail, that we were very fortunate.
Yeah.
But then our children, grandchildren, and those that come next will have a direct link with Baba.
Yeah.
We had a link with the Mandali. We were, and Baba, of course, Baba first, and then the Mandali.
Yeah, but it's interesting that it's like what Judy Galbert did, because she put together a collection, and that you have one book where you can read all these things. So this book, I do hold my fingers and support, in my heart, because this will be one collection where you can read about all of them. Whereas in other places you read here and there, and so here they will be collected. So it's very important, very beautiful.
Well, when I do it, I'll probably ask people, is this correct? Please help. But they're wonderful stories. They're remarkable people. Like my grandchildren haven't had that opportunity, but there's so much that's visual these days. There's so many DVDs, there's so many talks, so that a lot of the information truly is there.
Yeah, but each one is separate in different places, and here you are compiling, and that is why it is so beautiful. It will be wonderful.
But I do have wonderful memories of Meheru. She was regal in her older years. Her hair was just like, I don't know, she was just regal looking. And
yes, she was regal.
I garden a lot, and I would bring seeds, and we went on occasion for walks in the garden, which I just treasure, just absolutely treasure. So we were very fortunate to get to know her. And Ruthie, I really liked that you had Cindy singing a song in the beginning of your wonderful movie, because she really was very fond of Cindy Lowe. And Cindy would sit on the porch, and I think helped Meheru in some ways to ask questions, sing songs, share stories.
Well, I'm happy that I used that song too. It just had it has an element that's felt so much like Meheru, that she was always by Baba's side, always by Mehera's side.
It's such a beautiful point that you brought up, Lucy.
Also, that for me, it has this, yes, it's regal, but it almost feels like a gypsy. She's got
Yeah,
this
both. Right, both.
wonderful thing going on. And there's that shot of her walking up the hill. She's got kind of a brown skirt on, and she's in motion, and she's just so regally beautiful, Karen. Thank you.
And there's one person who's writing a book about her.
Oh,
And
cool.
fortunately, she's younger. She has more time. Kristen Crawford.
Oh, yeah.
They were very close.
Oh,
That's Louise Barry's cousin.
Oh, neat.
who's Louise Berry?
A Baba lover in our area
Mhm.
who was married to Dick Anthony. And actually, I need to ask you, Ruthie, their son, Stephen, when he was like 8 years old or something like that, was in one of the photos. You'll
Oh,
see a child, and there was a photo of Meheru, and I don't remember who the other women were in the picture.
uh-huh.
But if you're looking straight at the picture to the right is Stephen, and I know Louise would love a copy of it if she doesn't already have it. So any information on how to get that picture to
I'll
Louise
send it. Well,
and
what I'll
Stephen,
I'll email the photo to you,
thank you.
and you can distribute because you'll know where to send.
Stephen is now 40, will be 43
Wow.
in November 25th. He'll be 43, but his parents took him like when he was for several years, on summer breaks to India. So he did have a chance to really meet the Mandali.
So fortunate. So
Yep.
lucky.
Yep.
Well, why don't we all have a moment of silence? And thank you, everyone, for your shares. We'll just take a moment with the beloved.
Jai Baba. And Jai Baba to Meru. Thank you all. Thank you, Lucy. Thank you all for your shares.
Thank you all.
Thank you, Baba, for your love.
Avatar, Meherabad.
Ki Jai.
Avatar,
Meherabad. Ki
Jai. Avatar,
Meherabad.
Meherabad. Ki Jai. Jai Baba.
And Ralph, nice haircut.
Yeah.
Who's got the haircut?
Ralph,
Wow. He looks very spiffy, huh?
yeah, with the glasses, he almost looks like a professor.
I'm too pleased with this haircut.
Good.
It's a lady, and it was the opposite gender from my own that gave it to me, and I gave her a $5 tip.
Good for you.
Yeah, it was great.
Very nice.
Good team down there. Lobo hair, Lobo cuts, the Lobos, Wolves.
There you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, looking good, Ralph. Looking good. I just also want to mention I got something from Angela about helping out if anybody is able to or would like to help some of the Baba family from the mountains of North Carolina, Asheville, and around. She's going to start a list of people that would be okay with having people come and stay because they may be, you know, without water and power and electricity for a while. So it might be something that we could offer them is a haven. So just so you know, send your
There's
name
also,
to Angela.
there's also a link to contribute to the hurricane victims in general. It's in her email. Yeah. Ruthie,
Yeah,
can I ask you to send that beautiful picture of the
yes.
Baba in the crown? Thank you.
Yes, it's a stolen picture of the king.
All the better.
Is it too late for me to say something? I met
No?
Meheru.
Yeah,
I
I did. Too late. Don't.
no. Okay, I was unpresentable. I met her on the porch in 1994, and I spent a lot of time sitting next to her and paint a lot. And I brought this hand painted book, and it had pictures of Baba in it, and I gave it to her, and she said, "Can I keep it for a while?" Yeah, and I said, "Okay." And then when I left, she never gave it back. And you just said that she was in charge of the archives. I said, "Oh, maybe the book is in the archives." I never knew what happened to it. So if you ever go to India, go look in the archives. Anyways, but it was like, yeah.
So if she treasured it enough that she asked you if she could keep it for a
I
while.
know. I was like, that was like a real gift that she kept it, But the only thing was, I never made a copy of it, so that was it. Like usually, I'll like now when you do something, you scan it or take a photo, and it was just, I was just like, "Here, look at this book," and she took it, so I was really happy. Yeah. Anyway, just wanted to add something that,
Yeah, Marcia, beautiful. Thanks.
Gigi,
Yeah.
sweet girl.
Sweet.